Hey guys, welcome to Electrofun. This is my 15th video tutorial on Python programming. In this video tutorial, we are going to study on Python functions. So after you are done with the video, you will get the answers of what is function, why we need to use function, and how we can use function. So let's get started. I'll open Python IDE. Okay. I'll just make it a bit small. Okay, and I'll just open a new file so that we can write it over here. Okay, so what is a function and why we need to use function? A function is basically a group of statements or block of code which is defined to perform a specific task. Now let's say you have a code where you need to perform addition of few numbers. So instead of performing it or writing the code again and again, you can define a function and you can call it which performs the similar task. This what it does is basically this improves your modularity of your code. So instead of writing 100 lines of code and the code is repeated, you can define a function so it reduces the number of lines of your code which you write. So let's just write a definition of it. A function is a group of statements. Defined is a proper word. Defined to perform a specific task. Okay, yeah, so this is the definition in simple words of functions. So let's see how we can use it, how we can define it. So there is a keyword called def, which means defining. Then comes the function name. Okay, then comes the argument. Okay, I'll explain it just a minute. Or set of statements. So okay, so a function can be defined using a keyword called def. Then comes the function name. Then comes the argument. Now the argument can be 0 or null value, means empty brackets, or it can have n numbers of arguments separated by a comma. Then terminated using a colon. Then the set of statements or whatever you want to have, the task of particular task. Yeah, the indentation is important here as well. Okay, so what happens is we have studied some predefined functions in Python before, which are print, input, and many other predefined functions. Now what we are trying to do is we are trying to create our own user defined functions which performs a particular task depending on the application which we want to code in it. So let's start with it. I'll use def. The function name will be sum. Okay, it takes, let's say, 2 arguments which can be defined using x comma y, then colon, then enter. Okay, now when the function is called, it needs to have 2 arguments and it needs to return the sum of it. So what I'll do is I'll just return x plus y. Okay, so here we are done defining our function. Now let's see how we can call it. Sum, the name of the function, then the arguments which you want to pass to perform the addition of x and y, or two numbers, as I have defined two arguments over here. So 70 and let's say 30. Oh yeah, so this is a very simple example which I'm trying to explain over here. We can also do 70 plus 30, which I have explained before. So this is just an example of how we can create our own user defined functions and use it in our programs by calling it, passing the value in your arguments, and then returning a particular value. So let's say let's define a new function called welcome. Okay, now welcome takes name as an argument, and okay, that's my bad. It takes name, then the argument, the return should be okay. Now okay, what I have done over here is, you need to understand, you cannot define an argument as a string. It has to be something which is like let's say you have to pass the value. Now that depends when you call the function. Now I'll make it more clear. Now what I did over here is, I tried to encapsulate in a double quote, which means I'm trying to take a string inside welcome, which is logically sounds true, but that is not my case, because it will print name and basically it won't happen anytime. What I need to do is, the name can be anything, so that depends on you. So you can change that depending on the function when you call it. Now let's say I'll call welcome. Here when you are calling, you need to define double quote. Now let's say buddies. Yeah, so what I did is, I defined a function called welcome, which takes the argument name, which I am passing over here as a string in double quotes, and when what I need to return is, I need to print welcome, which is a string, and then comma with a name. So it basically it does is, it prints welcome buddies. So you can try something else as well. Let's say welcome. Yeah, so I hope this is a bit clear to you, that why this gave me an error of saying invalid syntax, and how we can pass your string argument. Because here what we did was, we had numbers, so it doesn't matter that whatever you take, it can be anything. But over here it really matters, because when you're trying to pass a string, you need to do it in double quotes. That is the syntax of it. So this way you can define functions, and I hope you have understood it. If you have any doubts, or if you want detailed explanation of it, you can visit my blog, and doubts I'll try to solve all of them. Don't forget to comment if you have any problem. Thank you for now. Hope to see you for the next time. Please like my video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.